In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you one tip that's going to show you how to turn your big idea into reality. Welcome to my channel, and it's time to get started with Laban Reeves. You know that you've been put on this earth to do something really significant. You've got a big idea. You can see it in your mind, but you just don't know where to get started. You've had plenty of restless nights. You wake up every day and this thing is burning inside your heart. Months have passed, years have passed, and you haven't done anything yet. And so I know what you're thinking. How is little old me gonna do this big old thing? How is little old me gonna start this food truck business? How is little old me gonna start this non-for-profit where I'm giving coats to all the homeless people in the city of New York? I have been where you are. I was fresh out of college, 21 years old, 22 years old, and I had this dream in my head that I was going to get into the music industry. But then I was thinking to myself, well, how is little old me gonna get into this really big music industry? I saw myself working with people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, Alicia Keys, all of the big artists in the world. But I had no clue how to get started. It was virtually impossible. I had to start by thinking and realizing that Jay-Z's not just gonna call my phone and be like, "Yo, L, send me some tracks." I had to work my way to that point. Now, I didn't ever get to work with Jay-Z, but I did get to work with some of my favorite artists like Fabulous and Foxy Brown. But I didn't start there. And I gotta let you know, your dream isn't too big. God didn't put you on this earth to do something that you can do alone. He wants you to call out to Him for help. So if your dream is really big, then you've got a good dream. The problem is that the weight of your dream is too heavy. It's like you're walking around like, oh, how am I gonna, I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm lost. Oh, where do I start? Oh, I just don't know. Well, let me give you one tip that's gonna help you get started today. The reality is, doing big things doesn't start with doing big things. No. Doing really big things starts with taking really small steps. Imagine if you were given a big, huge box that was just too heavy for you to carry. It didn't even fit inside your arms. How would you get it from point A to point B? Well, if you're smart, which I know that you are, you'd open up that box and start taking things out of it. And then you would carry them from one point to the other. This is the same concept. Open up that big idea and start taking the smaller parts out of it. One of my favorite Bible scriptures says, if you're faithful in the small things, you'll be faithful in the big things. But if you're dishonest with the small things, you'll be dishonest with the big things. So, what is the smallest step that you can take towards your big idea? Figure out what that is, and maybe you think of a step and that step is too big. Well, then think, okay, well, what's the smallest thing that I can do to that? And that's where you begin. And after you take a small step, then say to yourself, well, what's the next smallest step that I can take? And after you take that step, what's the next smallest step that I can take? What's the next smallest step that I can take? And eventually you're gonna look back and be like, man, I've made a lot of progress. You're not gonna reach your dreams in one day, but you will make progress. So when I was trying to break into the music industry, I didn't start by walking into Def Jam Records. I started when I was in college, learning how to make beats. I found people who were talented to start making songs to my tracks. And little by little, I learned how to make good songs. From there, I started to say, okay, I want people to pay me for my tracks. In my mind, my tracks were worth $10, $15, $20,000. But the reality is nobody was gonna pay me that amount of money. Nobody knew who I was. So I found somebody who was gonna be willing to pay me anything. Do you know how much I got paid to do my first track? It was $100. I went from making $100 to making several $100s. And those several $100s eventually turned into several $1,000s. Then I eventually made my first track for Foxy Brown. It was a $2,500 payday. You worked with one of the biggest artists in the world at the time. You didn't get paid a lot of money. I didn't, but I had my foot in the door. And as I made steps inside the door, small steps that kept leading to slightly bigger steps, I was able to eventually get more and more money for my tracks. So maybe you're thinking, well, how do I start my food truck? Stop thinking about the big food truck idea and start thinking about the smallest thing that you can do today that's gonna help you take a step in that direction. You might wanna be thinking, what are the items that I wanna have on my food truck? Let me master my one key menu item. And then you wanna take that item to as many people as possible who wanna try out your food so you can validate and know that, yes, people love my food. And then from there, you may wanna start charging for that item. So maybe you make a really good burger. You wanna start, giving samples of that burger out. Then from there, you wanna start to see, okay, well, can I charge people? Will people pay me for my burger? And then maybe you do some deliveries to their houses. And then from there, maybe you add a couple other items to your menu. And then from there, eventually you're starting to not only work on building a wonderful menu for your food truck, but you're also gaining valuable experience. You're getting intimate with your customers. Your customers are people that you're delivering food to them, and so they're able to give you the feedback that you need that's gonna help you to build your business and save up the money to buy the food truck, so that once you get inside that food truck, you've mastered the art of what it means to run a food truck. Folks, all I'm saying today is be faithful with the small things. And trust me, you'll eventually get to the big things. In the comments below, I want you to put down what is the big idea you have and what is the first small step that you're going to take to work towards it. In a year from now, you're going to look back and see how far you've come instead of looking back and see, well, I didn't get nowhere again for another year. I hope this video has been helpful. And if it has, I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because I'm coming to you with more content. I'm Laban Reeves and I'm signing off. It's time to go and get started.